Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. Do you ever wander around the streets of your town and ask yourself, I wonder what happened on this very spot 200 years ago? Or I wonder if my town had a major impact on civilization today? Well, I think our guest today, Patricia Punch Barrett, must have had those thoughts from time to time because she's woven a lively science fiction tale that brings her protagonists face to face with past civilizations and the parts their towns may have played in them. Patricia Punch Barrett is the author of The Lost City of Harlequin Springs, book two of the Panterra Chronicles series. Welcome, Patricia. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Paul. What a great question. I can remember back in 1971 when my dad brought me for my 21st birthday to Las Vegas, and it was truly just a one street
Oh,
shot through town,
yeah.
and they had the famous hotels, but it's just grown into a metropolis far beyond the most wild imaginations. You couldn't have even conceived of this decades ago.
Oh, I know. I love that kind of historical perspective where you look around and go, I wonder what happened on this spot because that's always fascinating to me.
Right.
Um, is it
So
how important is it that people have read your first book before reading the second one, or do they stand on their own?
Well, actually, it gives a little background about the main characters.
Mhm.
And the super tramps are called super tramps because they're aerialists and trampoline artists. And originally, their legacy goes back to a traveling circus in Australia. And then they migrated to the Americas and to Las Vegas. And they bought, well, the first ranch, the Panterra Star Rancho, was won in a card game because the mobsters were going to jail anyway. They didn't care. But the ringmaster, the grandfather of the characters in the story, bought it for habitat and for retired show animals because they have the show animals here in
Yeah,
Vegas.
sure.
And of course, traveling circuses are passe now, but they had a nice ranch property. And so nowadays, in the second story, the super tramps are a little older and they're taking classes out at UNLV in film. And they work as stunt doubles in the movie industry.
Oh, okay.
And they used to travel back and forth from Los Angeles, just like the original
Mhm.
Golden Age, right? And
Yeah.
but now they're getting movie studios here in Las Vegas, but they do stunt double work, and this has led them into um, their indie productions. And they go to pawn shops and antique stores looking for props, costumes, things like this for their indie productions. And they went into one and discovered a very odd map, very cryptic, but they couldn't help but notice that it bore a striking resemblance to the route to Devil's Hole. And for those people that aren't familiar with Devil's Hole, it's in the northwestern part of Nevada. Devil's Hole is part of uh, the Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge, and and of course the Death Valley National Park.
Mhm.
And they decided that when they imploded the Tropicana Hotel, they wanted to escape the air quality. And they thought, well, we'll just go see the pupfish, the vaunted pupfish out at Devil's Hole, because these adorable little blue fish are at the top of the endangered species list. And about several decades ago, a developer had come in and decided to put a development right next to the wildlife refuge. And in so doing, he drained the aquifer that the pupfish were dependent upon, are dependent upon. And they're in an underground lake in the middle of the Mojave Desert, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So yeah. So the BLM and the Environmental Protection Agency and everything, they got involved and protected the pupfish. But nowadays, there are challenges to that because uh, foreign interests, not even US interests, but foreign interests are trying to mine for these so-called rare earth minerals right next to the aquifer where the pupfish are now they're not exactly thriving,
Mhm.
but they're not extinct. And so anyway, these mining interests have come in, and once again, the BLM Protection Agency and the National Forest Service and everything, well, they're like, no, no, no. And so anyway, it's controversial. And in the meantime, we've gone over to Kazakhstan to beg for these rare earth minerals and get an exemption in this tariff controversy. And uh, my question is, why are we going to Putin to beg for rare earth minerals while we're allowing foreign interests to come in and dig next to a national wildlife? It's kind of, but that was 6 months ago. That was like, it was a big news item in the Las Vegas Review Journal. And in my book, there's a citation so people can review it and think about it for themselves. But anyway, the super tramps go to Ash Meadows and they want to see the pupfish again. And they didn't find the mob treasure that they think is part of this map. The map was unusual and it resembled the route to Devil's Hole, but it also had hints of treasure. So they went to Devil's Hole to check out the pupfish because they're ardent environmentalists, and also to maybe see if they could locate this mob treasure. And not only because it would be a sensational find, but it would take it out of having this pristine uh, environment trampled by treasure hunters, right?
Mhm.
So anyway, they don't find it. They had a great time and it was very interesting. Then they headed for Harlequin Springs. And this is a fictitious ghost town because there are more ghost towns in Nevada than any other state, more hot springs than any
Mm.
other state. So they go to the Harlequin Springs because their friend from the first story, Duke Cloa Daly, is an actor and he's shooting a scene there, which is turns out to be both romantic and hilarious. And while they're there, they start thinking about the legend of the lost city of Harlequin Springs. And the Shoshone Indians have alluded to a lost city, and their waters are sacred. The Shoshone have native rights to this area.
Mhm.
So it would be a grievous offense and injustice to just go in and start ripping up the terrain looking for these minerals, which are important in semiconductors and electric batteries and things. But they're discovering things where they won't need quite so much lithium. And so anyway, Harlequin Springs was great, and they made their way back to the Mobstar Grand Marquis Hotel and Resort, which is on the Panterra Star property. And they decide to go look for this mob treasure and a ghost theater that had been swept away decades ago by a flash flood. So they get in there and they go into these subterranean tunnels and explore around, and all kinds of fun adventures ensue. And I don't want to give the story away, but
No, we
it's
don't want to do that. Well, I'm
no,
always fascinated though by fiction writers. I understand nonfiction. I've written nonfiction, but when it comes to, I've written some short stories, but I can't imagine how you develop a long fictional story. Where do you get your ideas? Do you grab some of them from current events and you just sort of
Yeah.
tweak them a
That's
little
right.
bit? Or where do you come up with your ideas for the
I
characters and
can't
their adventures?
explain it, except that I get a lot of help. So anyway, but it's fun for me. At first, I'm casting around and I'm not sure where, and then once I get an idea going, it seems like every day I'm getting pieces from the news, from things that come across the internet.
Mhm.
I have things that come across from Nice News, Nautilus. I have a subscription to that. I'm like, wow, this fits right in with my
Yeah.
theme or story. So I really don't know where it's going. It just evolves.
That's kind of
And
like that. There's the Law and Order episodes. They say ripped from the headlines. You can take a headline and just kind of play with it and do the what if, or what if it
yeah,
went this way. And I found a lot of times in the fiction I do write, I find that sometimes the story starts writing itself.
you're right. You
Hmm.
are absolutely right. Thank you for crystallizing that for me.
Well, yeah.
It does.
Now,
I'm like, I can't wait to find out what happens next.
exactly. Yeah. I've got to say, your story, your life story itself reads like kind of an adventure yourself. I mean, you were, born to a Navy family in California. You moved around the country, ended up in Australia, where you had an incident that really
Oh, yeah.
had an impact on you. Tell me about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, it was at Hanging Rock, and my American friend that I had traveled with across the ocean, you know, we decided after we got there, they gave us a 3-week holiday within 3 weeks of having arrived. So we decided to go up to the Gold Coast, and she bought a used VW that broke down 60 miles outside of Melbourne.
Mhm.
And that's the way they pronounce it.
Of course.
And so, anyway, it was on a Sunday, and everything was shut down then on Sunday. Really, for the most part of Saturday too. You had to get your grocery shopping and everything done by 6 o'clock on Friday night.
Hmm.
So, car broke down, and we hiked to the nearest farmhouse, and they were so kind, welcoming, and accommodating. They invited us right in. We stayed the night, and it was a farmhouse connected to sort of like a barn. It was fabulous. And the woman made us a lovely farmhouse breakfast. They got a hold of a mechanic for us. And in the morning, we went out. She said, "Oh, I have something special to show you." We go out and she points to the tree. We look up, it was a tree full of koalas.
Oh,
I was just struck dumb with amazement.
yeah. So
They
you
were,
fell in love with those creatures.
oh, yes, I did. And then we continued on to Surfers Paradise, the Gold Coast,
Hmm.
Brisbane area, and all that. And we went into a shop to get our bottle. We were going to a three Michelin star restaurant near Surfers Paradise and Edgecombe or something like that. And it- you had to get your bottle before you went to the restaurant because everything closed at 6.
Uh-huh.
So we got our Yolanda Rosé and Benny and Moselle. This is on a teacher's budget, right?
Of course.
So anyway, while we're at the bottle shop, the proprietor lady said, "Oh, I have something special to show you," because she detected our American accents.
Mhm.
And she pulls out this shoebox with a baby koala.
No kidding.
Oh, that sealed the deal. I was just, I mean, I'm like a major koala aficionado. I
Mhm.
mean, it's like I'm passionate about them.
Hey, they're
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 so
vicious.
cute.
They're vicious little beasts, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah. If they get in somebody's car, I saw this on something like TikTok or Instagram. Somebody's uh, car. They had left the windows down, and a koala got in there. He couldn't get it out. I mean,
Oh,
they can they can be assertive.
uh-huh. Well, they have taken a part of your first story. I know that. And the second story, what do you hope that readers will get from reading the second book?
Well, again, my environmental themes are kind of tangentially related. I hope to touch on them, but not in a way that is heavy. You know,
Preachy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You want to
anyway,
you want to
so
entertain people.
exactly. So I hope they enjoy my book. It's the Lost City of Harlequin Springs. You can find it on Kindle, Amazon. You can Google it and find it available through all kinds of bookstores. The launch date is August 1st. However, if a person goes online, they can pre-order The Lost City of Harlequin Springs for 99 cents.
Holy
And
mackerel. That's a deal.
yeah, it is. And the price goes back up August 1st when it officially launches. So I encourage my interested readers to check it out. There is another story coming in the works that
Good.
continues the theme.
Well,
So I
I'm sure that part three we'll see you again. So the Lost City of Harlequin Springs, book two of the Panterra Chronicles. Get it on Amazon. And Patricia, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Always nice to talk with you.
thank you, Paul Ryland. You are so gracious. I always enjoy visiting with you. I'll look forward to the next time.
Thank you so much. And thank you, folks, for spending a few minutes with us on the Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time.